quick. You wanted to go over some comments that we had from our YouTube page.
Oh, right. So let me see. So we did the last podcast we had a segment. We were talking about Russell Wilson and obviously what happened with his contract situation and the fact that he's sitting out. He sat out the game last week and he's going to sit out the game this week. They're holding him out because they don't want him to get hurt because they don't want the part of his contract to become guaranteed. So anyway, the video about Russell Wilson. What's this person's name? Zeta Clemens 1097. So Sean Payton is such a genius, and he had to dumb down his offense for slow Russell Wilson. Sean and his mastermind had an elite QB for 16 seasons, correct? Only one Super Bowl appearance win to show for it. 4 of Sean's seasons were under 500, one season at 500. The talent level, including offensive line, isn't great at all. Shannon Sharp and Steve Sims, maybe you mean Steve Smith, I'm not sure, doesn't think the wide receiver tight ends are good. When coaches aren't that great, should we lower their pay? So, first of all, thanks for the comment. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we appreciate you. Continue listening. Yeah, I mean, if a coach does poorly, should the coach get fired? I mean, yeah, sure. I think coaches should sometimes get fired, but I think you're kind of making the point like, well, what Sean Payton couldn't figure out how to play with Russell Wilson. Like, isn't that on the coach? Well, no, I mean, Sean Payton did figure out how to run the offense with Russell Wilson. That's why you saw a bunch of screen passes, not throwing the ball that much. They tried to run the ball more. And then something else people keep forgetting. During that stretch when Denver was playing pretty well, they were getting a bunch of turnovers on defense. And a lot of times that tends to happen with mediocre teams, like they go on a little run. That's because their defense is playing well. And Russell would hold on to the ball forever and just, not throw the ball well, that prevents you from throwing interceptions. And then also I hear plenty of people. I heard Mark Schlereth and a bunch of other people saying that, it seems like every game Russell Wilson leaves 5 or 6 throws on the field because either he doesn't see it or he doesn't turn it loose. And those could potentially be big plays. So I can understand criticizing Sean Payton and being like, well, how good is this guy? He's only won the Super Bowl once. And yeah, they did have some down years in New Orleans. But I don't think that the reason Russell Wilson is playing poorly or subpar is because of Sean Payton. I just think that's Russell Wilson, he's on the decline of his career and he's just not very good anymore.
Well, the problem with that argument is the proof's right in front of you. Last year, they didn't have Sean Payton. What was Denver? Pretty bad, right?
That's
the first 5 or 6 games of the season, what were they? They were 1-5, right? So what do you think the improvement is due to? You think Russell Wilson all of a sudden after a year and a half got better? Or do you think maybe Sean Payton really helped him out and that made you know what I mean? So we can't go from, we're not this Russell, the evidence against Russell Wilson is not like one thing or a few weeks. This is an entire season last year and an entire season this year. And so what do you think the improvement, that Russell Wilson's had in the second half of the season, what do you think that's due to? So my argument would be, yeah, it's the coach, because I know the coach is calling the offense. So yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of criticism of Sean Payton, and I get some of it. I understand some of it, and how, if you think Russell Wilson's been mistreated, I get it. But the on the field stuff, that doesn't lie. Like that's fairly easy to figure out. It's not real complicated. And that's why they're trying to get rid of him. And if it were true that Russell Wilson is playing great, then why are they trying to get rid of him?
Right. Anyway, I mean, hey, we appreciate the comment. We appreciate you listening. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We did get one other comment. It was about the festivus episode. Oh, where is this playing? So we got a comment on the festivus episode. Let's see, from Dr. Thanks for the comment. We appreciate it. Grievance: players winning an individual award and then claiming to be humbled by this honor. They're never actually humbled. This is as big as their egos get. Why does this phrase keep getting used? Yeah, that's a good. I don't know. That's a good grievance because yeah, it's they try to act like. I mean, I always get annoyed when they're like, "Oh, I don't really care about individual honors." Yes, you do. Like, stop. Come on. We know you. We know that players will get mad if they don't win the MVP and they think they should, or when they don't make the All Star team and they think that they should have made it. So yeah. I mean, the athletes acting like they're humble and whatever. I mean, some of them probably genuinely are, but a lot of them, I really don't think they are.
Yeah, it's a very good point. But it's also that's a sports cliche, that players that athletes use, because they don't want to sound. Because the problem is, if any athlete says anything that sounds like they're not humble, then they get ripped. So it's kind of you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And we complain that the athletes all give us the same answers. Well, those are the answers that we want. That's why they're giving them. So I appreciate athletes that go out and tell the truth. I think it's great, but I don't think everybody should do it. I think it would be I think we'd have a
Yeah.
huge problem if everybody was doing that. But listen, athletes do get humbled. This isn't a joke. Like, it's really hard to make a professional league. And usually you're going to have to get humbled before you get there. And even when you get there, you're probably going to have to be humbled by something else that happens. But no, they're probably not humbled by winning the MVP. That's probably not a humbling experience
Yeah. Totally.
for the professional athletes.
Yeah. So thanks for the comment.